So today we are going to talk about process design, process analysis, and briefly we might want to touch on some aspects of scheduling, as you might find that they are pretty much linked. Let's start with process design. So uh, if you are looking at production and operations management in manufacturing or service industry, in whatever format you want to reflect on it or think about it, you would realize or find out that it is all about processes. So as you are in any type of production or managing any type of service, generally what you are doing is that there are many processes going on in the plant, uh, in the manufacturing, in the production house, in the facility. Various processes are going on to create some end product, tangible or intangible in terms of service. So it is different processes are going on, and the better the process is, more it's likely that the end product is going to be of the standard which you decided that this process should give you, whatever the process is. Yeah. So processes, that is and this is one reason, because everything is about processes. Different type of processes are going on in the plant. That is why it is very important that you try to improve your processes over a period of time, and there are various techniques and tricks to that, and we might want to talk about that a little later. As I am reflecting on this, I was thinking that, we were talking about, in maybe some other course, we were talking about leadership. Yeah, leaders, and production manager, operation manager, plant manager, all of these are leaders. They are leading their plants or their division, whatever you want to call it. So what is the ultimate job of a leader? Yeah, it's quite a broad topic to discuss. Like some people would say, motivate the workers, give them good working conditions, uh, know the new knowledge, technologies, all those things which you guys also have been talking about. One of the fundamental job, based on how I was thinking about it or reflecting on the topic of leadership and processes and overall operations production manager, I was maybe thinking that one of the key jobs of a leader is to establish very nice processes, procedures, processes or procedures which he does not necessarily has to be over there and manage them. Set the processes in a way that even if he is not on the plant, the processes are running smoothly. The people are running them smoothly, whatever you want to call it. And not just that, even once he is gone from the plant, he's retired or moved on or he's not there, the he is not missed. That is what I am trying to say, that it should not be that when the I should not say it should not be that. What I'm trying to say this, that this is how I am thinking. You can think the way you would want to think based on your experience and readers. I would want to think that leaders should establish processes which would, when he's gone, still he's not missed. It should not be that he's there and processes, procedures are working fine, and once he's gone, everyone is saying, oh, that leader, that leader was there, everything was fine. Now he's not there, so because he's not there, he or she, whatever is the I'm just saying he, but of course most of the times female managers are running operations in businesses, especially in Jamaica. There are more female managers in Jamaica than male managers. That is a statistic. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that it should not be that the person is there and everything is running fine, And if that is the case, which many times is, because when the person is gone, then the things are kind of collapsing. And so I would want to think that that is not good leadership. Something, then again, I should not say it was not a good leadership, because as long as the person was there, he was providing good leadership. But it could have been better if the leader has given some thought on it, that when he's not there, how things would run, and establish the processes which would maybe pass the test of time. Although again, that is very hard to qualify yourself to pass the test of time, because things are evolving very rapidly, very fast, because of technologies. But still, I would want to think that a good leader who has good experience in the field and is reading and observing, and going to different plants in the same sector, seeing how competition is doing the things, it is hard. I'm not saying it is very easy. It is easy to say in this type of discussion. In the practical world, it is very, very hard. But if person is doing these type of things and he's good leader, he should be able to set some processes, procedures, which won't necessarily require him, like maybe auto on the autopilot. That is I think one should at least aspire to in terms of leading production and operation. Uh, that is how I think about it. But of course, nothing is binding in my sessions. You guys should think. I just share how I think. You guys should think the way you would want to think or lead. Yeah, when uh, you are in some capacity of managing operations. Yeah. So processes, procedures, very key, very important. Always on the lookout to improve them. Let's talk what are some of the ways to improve processes, procedures. Let me ask you here, what do you think? If someone wants to improve the process, procedure in any type of business, what should they do? Even if you don't have business working world experience, any process, life is all about processes. Even in your daily life, daily routines, if you want to improve processes, procedures, what are some of the things we can do to improve the processes, procedures in our personal private life, at work, in school, wherever? How to improve? What are some of the best practices if you want to improve a process? How you should start? Where to start from? What should you do? What are some of the things to do? What are some of the things not to do? Anything on those lines, please go ahead.
Maybe a daily task list or a to-do list that might help.
Okay, for example, please elaborate on that, like task list. If you can give some example. We were talking about it in the last session, I remember. So good to link today's discussion with the last one. So how task list is going to improve the process, if someone can elaborate on that. All right, Donna is saying create document for the current processes. That can be very, very good way to start the journey. Like first thing you might want to do, you might want to see how the things are done right now. Just document it step by step. Don't miss anything. Don't
Right,
try to
sir.
include anything. Don't try to improve it. Just document. Talk with the people. How do they do the thing? Make documentation
Right,
and
sir.
elaborate step one, step two, whatever. Yes, Walters, please. Yeah.
All right. So what you could do, as she suggested, is document the process step by step. See what affects each process. See what will help each process to be more efficient or help the employees to be more efficient in each process. um, and think objectively. So don't think that something that you could change would be ridiculous. Everything is on the table for consideration and stuff like that. So document, review in
Beautiful.
detail, and analyze.
Thanks very much for this line. I would not have said it myself. Everything is on the table for consideration. Everything is on the table for consideration. I have written it for myself. I think I will be repeating this line in some other sessions. Yeah. So everything you don't like. What it means is that no matter how good any step is, and it seems like it is very good step, don't think like that, because you are thinking about continuous improvement. So whatever the step is, and it might be very good, you want to take it to the level of Six Sigma and beyond. Remember, in the last session I asked you to read about few things from the slides, some of the pointers from total quality management, if you recall. Yeah. Like someone was asking me explain the Gachi concept, and I asked them to read. Then I said read about Six Sigma. What is the failure rate in Six Sigma? What percentage? Yeah, all of that. So everything is under consideration. So you are looking at every like, and uh, Grant has very nicely explained it, that objectively are looking at, you first want to identify what is your, at what level you want to take this process, like to how much perfection, because you can keep on improving the thing more and more. Like this pen I am holding, this the ultimate pen machine? Is the mechanics in this pen are the of the highest order? Is there any room for improvement in the process of making these pens? Of course there must be, but the people who are manufacturing these pens, they wanted to stop at some place. Otherwise you can keep on improving, but it will keep on increasing the cost. And then you have to see that who is going to buy the thing. Like, and you can think about anything, like the patty, juicy patty we buy. Yeah, how much it is? 150, 180, 200, something like that. So is that the ultimate patty which juicy can produce based on their expertise in this field for many years? Not at all. They can make far more tasty patties for us. Yeah. They can do it because of their expertise, because of their experience over the years. So they can do this, but they have realized that this is where the customer is okay to pay 180, 150, 200, whatever is the price they are setting, and this is where they are going to maximize their sales. So because they generate these type of businesses generate on maximum buying from the customer. So at this price point, with this tasty, with this taste, with this quality, people are willing to pay. So of course they could keep on improving it more and more and more, but as they would improve, for example, they would improve the quality of the ingredients in it, use better machinery, precision techniques, all of those things. They can do that, but then it will increase the price. So this is what objectivity is, as Grant has explained us. He has put the word for us to reflect on. So thank you very much, Grant. I would not have, neither I have spoken about objectivity, not like the way you mentioned very nicely, that everything is there for consideration, everything, no matter what it is. And then you can decide if you want to improve it or not. Yeah. So this way you would want to think about other like products. You should, like, why don't you, when you go to, talk with the, if you get a chance, with the managers of these type of establishment, any place where they are doing some type of production, because all of these fast foods is production, it falls under production. They are not producing the other type of goods, but it is like eating type of goods they are producing. So what is the process like in the kitchen, uh, be it fast food, be it otherwise? Yeah. So you should, so very good pointers our friends have given. And earlier Donna had mentioned that you would want to create the document, and so good pointers. Yes, Melissa, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. I saw where, well, I was thinking it, but then I saw somebody put it in the chat. Well, you can do surveys and you can also do questionnaires to get feedback. So if it is that the example that you brought forward about the whole patties thing, you guys, well, you can have a suggestion box for customers to give you feedback. That way you can go back to the drawing board to evaluate the processes of you making the patties and the ingredients that you put in it. I guess with the feedback, you would know what the customers like and what they do not like, and then you would know, okay, fine, the
Yeah.
volume of this particular patty as to how much that one sells more than that one. So you would know how to make adjustments to the processes. So you can get feedback from the customers as well as from the persons, your staff, the persons that you work with.
Very good. Thanks, Melissa. And this is she has explained very nicely, so I should not be repeating what she's saying. But as she started speaking about, I was reflecting in my head, and this thought came in my mind, and I want to share with you what came to my mind a while ago as she was speaking. So think about this the competency, capability, or skill of conducting research. Yeah, research methodology, number wise or theory wise, qualitative quants, different type of statistical techniques, um, SPSS, those type of running those type of softwares and so on. Think about it that if we can have those type of skills, then see how we are able to work in various industries, because these type of things, and this under falls under analysis. Yeah. So if we can learn how to analyze data, quantitative methods, statistically speaking, where the trend is going, forecasting, these type of things. Think about it that how we can be applicable or useful in various industries. There is no industry which would not want to conduct some type of research. All businesses have some type of research and development, even if it is a small business. It might not say very clearly if it is a small business, but someone there is doing some type of research, trying to find how to improve their product and how to satisfy customer and how to maximize their profits. So all of this, so this thought came in my mind that, why don't we, all of us, why don't we, whatever we are doing doesn't really matter, whatever career we are in or we would want to go, if we can have some type of these skills, it can, I think, can make us very marketable, and would also, I think our own work would improve. Yeah. This is what came to my mind. Yes, Melissa, please go ahead.
Okay, sir, you can use UE as an example as to the processes
Mm-hmm.
are because, all right, so for the instructors and the tutors that we have for the courses, so they always send you a questionnaire closer to when the course would end to see how this
Mm-hmm.
individual's teaching skills was, if they were prepared, and all of that. So I would send you a questionnaire, and I'm assuming that they use that now to evaluate or to reevaluate their processes, these tutors that tutor the courses or that lecture the courses, to see what they can make adjustments to. If it is that you have some students, this is their learning, how they learn, and maybe if they try it another way, then they will learn and grasp the information so that the passing rate will be higher. So I'm just thinking that UE
Mm-hmm.
uses that as well to evaluate their processes.
Hmm. Very, very nice and very interesting example. Yes, again, I would not have thought about this specific example, but as Melissa is saying, I think we can talk about this one because all of us are familiar with this. My side as a in terms of giving the product, and your side in terms of getting the product or service, whatever you want to call it. So as Melissa is explaining, you would do some type of evaluation, and you would want to maybe make some type of suggestions and those type of things. Let me take it a little further, because some things are coming in my mind right now. as I'm reflecting on this. And you should also reflect on the things which maybe the participant who is saying something in the discussion, they don't say it directly, but just reflect on these things. The way I'm reflecting is that, let's say that you don't like someone's methodology or whatever, and you say, all right, I don't, this person is not making sense, or whatever is your way of thinking, and you give that type of feedback, and it goes there. And then you see that couple of friends are in your cohort, as you guys would be talking with each other and everything. So I'm sure when you like someone, you guys talk about it, and if you don't like someone, you talk about that also. What are the positives and what are the negatives of any lecturer and so on. So think about it. There is someone who you don't like, and you are giving that feedback that this is not maybe the right candidate for the course or whatever. But over a period of time, you see that that is the same person who is teaching the course again and again. There's the same person, and he's not showing any type of change, if I if I or improvement in from your the way you look at it. So what would be your morale? Would you, if you would see that, would you want to give your feedback in those type of surveys where you are saying something over a period of time and you are not seeing any type of change or improvement or whatever? So this can be very tricky. So what I'm trying to say, that these surveys and these type of things are very good tools, but the way I think about it, I'm just sharing my thought. I'm not saying that this is how it is. You guys decide if it is like this or not. I'm just sharing my thought. I am thinking that if I am giving some type of feedback over a period of time and I'm not seeing any type of change, that is going to create, maybe that is going to create some type of resentment in me, and because I won't be able to do much, might stop believing in the survey. Nothing is going to happen, and let me not give it. So to say that businesses see the more serious businesses, at least, they when they ask for, first of all, you should ask for these types. The feedback should be asked when you are serious to consider it. That is what I'm trying to say as a production operation manager. Although the example was from UV, but strictly speaking, where the stakes are high in terms of profit, and not saying stake is not high at UV, but you know what I mean, yeah. So in terms of where it is cutthroat type of competition, and you are production operation manager, or in that some doing something on those lines, be mindful that don't just ask for feedback for the sake of it. You won't be able to trick the customers. You might, like, some people say that, all right, we ask for feedback. Yeah, we ask for feedback. We take care of customer sentiment and those, but practically they are not showing anything on the ground that they made any type of change or not. So I feel that can backfire. So what I'm trying to say is that be mindful of this. Ask for feedback when you are going to really consider it, and when you will not take it, you will at least spend the time to explain, at least the major stakeholders, that why you did not take that suggestion. Yes. So you would want to think about that. Uh, but going back to what Melissa was saying, that is a good example to think about in terms of improving UV processes. They are asking the participants that, okay, tell us, maybe 10-20 questions are asked, and you would reply to those type of questions. But think about it, when those evaluations are are done, is everyone participating? Do you always participate, all of you? Like you don't have to answer like in a loud voice, but at least think. Do you give evaluations every time? As so Donna is saying, Keddy is saying no, they don't. Yes, and we know this because the numbers or statistic comes that how many people are giving. So especially those people who are satisfied with the course and they like the lecturer, and they say all right, good thing. They are not going to necessarily sit down and give the feedback because they are thinking that everything is fine, so why should I? There are so many other things. And the timing of the survey, yeah, people are preparing for the final exam and then this survey comes in. What is in it for the person to do the survey, to complete the survey? When UV is asking, give us the course evaluation, why should you give? There is no incentive, especially when you enjoyed the course. Now what would happen is that people who there are always one or two people who who are not going to like whatever you are doing. It's hard to satisfy everyone, generally speaking. Uh, well, I am the exception because I'm very good in what I do. Self praise. But generally speaking, what I have heard that people who had some problems or complaints, they are going to maybe go in those type of surveys, and they will make up a point that they are going to showcase that. And then because not many people have done the survey, then those survey results, when they go to office of deputy principal, where planning office is, uh, then the reliability of those surveys also goes down because let's say if it is a class of 30 and only 7 people have done the completed the survey, we cannot take any type of decision based on that per se. So it is so because there are survey needs to there are some criterias which survey need to fulfill, and so on, like what should be the minimum number of people who have attempted. So yes, they are doing the surveys, but the question now is your feedback which you have been giving over a period of time, are you seeing those changes or not really? Yeah. So now this is something which I would not know what you have been writing and so on, but I would assume that maybe not. And I explained you one reason why it is. But I am also assuming that before I told you this and explained you what goes in the background, you did not know this, and then when you saw nothing happening based on your feedback, then again the earlier point which I was trying to explain, that if nothing happens based on customers feedback, then you have kind of lost the customer. um, and even if you have not lost the customer, in the case of UV, the person might still continue coming to UV. They are not going to be coming happily. There will be some type of resentment. Yeah. So you would want to think about this. Yes. Um, but then again, no system is perfect. Whatever system you are going to put in, there will be some loopholes in it, and so on. But think about these things. You can go on and on this type of example, but the major things which came to my mind I shared. If anything comes to your mind, you can share too in terms of example. But let's go back to the fundamental questions. What are some of the things which one needs to do as operations production manager when they are trying to improve the processes? What are some of the things you would want to do? You spoke about documentation. You spoke about everything is on table for consideration. Grant also spoke about making things more efficient in terms of less time used, less material is used, less labor is used. All of those things would fall under this, which we briefly, I think, touched in previous classes also. Like, you are trying to make the system lean. As a matter of fact, last session, which was on quality, you are essentially leaner the production is, that means there is less waste. That if there is less waste, you might want to say that the processes are running in a quality way. But what else? Any other, maybe one or two more things can anyone give? Like, what are some of the things we can do to improve processes? What are the no go areas? What are some of the things we should be mindful of? I explained you a couple of things on surveys, taking consumer feedback as you want to improve process. Don't take it just for the sake of it, and so on. But give me some points what are in your head, and I can maybe give my 2 cents on that. So Donna is saying you can have a very good product, but one step in the production can impact the outcome of its usage. Very good point, Donna. So you can read that in the chat. And we spoke about this in the last session when we were saying that what we were saying. We were saying that a product can be quality product and so on, but maybe it did not find the right shelf space or right spot in the market because of bad merchandising or inefficient merchandising, or maybe the brand is not so much established, so the grocery market people are giving better space to the more established brands. That is why it can be very difficult for the new entrant of new entry product entering new product or service in the market, especially when competition is strong and so on. Product can be good but for the wrong market, very good. Product can be good but it is in the wrong market. So all of those things are going to fall under the category of research. So what was your, in other words, what was your um, what was your process of selecting the market? Like, how did you determine that where you going to, which market you're going to enter, and so on? Like, these type of things you would study in international business management. Some of you have done that for me, but that is for some other time. Maybe nothing could be wrong with it, but it needs to be marketed for a different market, for example. And the timing also, as Donna is giving example there, winter clothes and so on. So timing, all those things, and this point might seem very obvious, and some people might think that winter clothes, of course you are going to give winter clothes in a market when where it is needed. So this is how it looks, maybe from how simple it might be, but it is not simple at all, because it is, especially in international markets, you have to really time the things, like when are you going to get the raw material to make the clothing, how are you going to stitch it, where is the labor, how it will be transported, supply and chain, and when is the winter time in different countries or different regions, if you want to think about that, and how you are going to make the supply at a timely base, all of that, and then marketing of the product and so on. So quite a few things are things are linked with it, especially as you would into your production and operation manage production and operations across boundaries, and even within the country it can be challenging. Yes. And Rekal is saying that they issue a questionnaire to the employees to get their feedback on the process and see where management can improve on, because management might not have the first-hand experience with the process. Very good. It is a possibility that the people who are on the higher up They might not have the hands-on experience of how the things are being produced, uh, because something, if you experience is, you can't beat experience, in simple words. No matter how much you are qualified, you can have a lot of degrees and so on. You might have done very well in school, but if you don't have the experience, you don't know many things. Just by reading, you can't know about production and operation management. On the other hand, if you just have work experience and you have not read in terms of degrees yet, I personally think that you can do fine. Um, Not saying that degrees are not important, of course they are. But if you are studying, if you are just studying to pass the exams, and you are thinking what would be in the final exam, and let me just prepare that, and let me just go through the slides and not read the book chapters, then what is the point of degree? Yeah, just a point which came in my mind. Don't take it personally. Yes, all right. So these are, now you can reflect on this, like, process improvements. Let me tell you my own experience. Process, my first internship after I graduated. So I really enjoyed it very much. The job was go in the plant, see how things are being done, observe, make notes, uh, write down, as Donna explained, write down how the things are done currently, and then do some readings on those things, try to learn about best practices, try to learn about how competition overseas are doing that business, learn about new technology developments and so on, and highlight how the operations can improve and so on. Meanwhile, you have access to the plant wherever you want to go, of course, and you can talk with anyone from lower staff to higher ups. Yeah, so that was one of my first internships after graduation. Amazing experience for a newcomer to have that type of access, and I really enjoyed, and what I learned was phenomenal. And that is from that insight, I said that, you know nothing beats experience, because of course I had read the books and whatever, but when you go in the plant, then there are various people are you are dealing with people. There is culture of the organization, there is a culture of different people. They are working there for some time, they have gained experience. Now they, after experience, and if they have not been failed a lot, they start thinking that they are doing it to the best in the best way. And there is a mindset also in the people that what they are doing is right, and why to improve. That type of things are also there. So then to tell them that no, we can improve this and so on, it can be challenging. And simple things like, how do they do their work. uh, it can be very tricky at times, because let's say, see, you are operation manager, and you have given some task to the workers, and your workers, whenever you come to check, they are listening to music, and they are dancing and whatever, like the labor works here. For example, construction industry, many times if you have had the chance, you would see that they are dancing and having their ganja, and you know what. So if you are just inspecting them every now and then, you see them not doing much work, especially if you have experience in other countries where you might not be allowed to listen to music, but based on our culture, we listen to music. Even in office, you must have seen, maybe you are one of those who would turn on your music as you are working and so on, depending on the job. And depending on the other factor, but you must have observed this, of course. So in some operations, in some places, you might see that that is a no, because now you can argue that when you are listening to music, you are enjoying it, so you would enjoy your work and whatever. But then some people might think that if you are doing multitask, or you are listening to these type of things, or watching some show as you are working, you are diverted and you are not giving your 100% focus, and so on and so forth. These small things, if you want to adjust in operation, see, it can be very challenging. So on the piece of paper you might write how the current how you can do the documentation of the process, but then to make some type of changes in it, like uh, it can be it can be very, it can be, you have to consider the culture. That is what I'm saying. So, and so many other things. So what I'm trying to say, that as you are trying to discuss or think about any topic in production and operation management, don't just consider the topics which we would do in our sessions, or you would see in the course outline. Try to link it with other things, um, and so on, please. Yeah. Yes, so that was the example which I wanted to give, that I learned a lot from that. So that was the job, looking at the processes, giving some suggestions, as Grant mentioned, improve efficiency. Some, like, the terminologies you can look in the book chapter and try to Google them and try to find out the meanings. For example, bottlenecks. So you are any type of hindrances where time is wasted or something like that. You have to minimize that, because every second on the plant matter. Uh, for individual, a second or two, if you are doing some work individually, it does not really matter. But if you are managing people and a lot of people are working on one process, because it is standardized, then if 1 second is lost, you have to multiply it with the number of people working, because it is not 1 second which is lost by one person. It is the, you have to multiply it with 30 workers, so every worker lost 1 second, so 30 seconds are lost. So every time when the, although apparently you might see that 1 second is lost, but because 30 people are working, you have to multiply it, and you would find that how much how much how much time is lost. Like when let to just to clarify, uh, because maybe the wording was not as what I want to really say. Let's think about, you are driving and you are stuck in traffic, which is normal, which is routine. So you are there on the road and not driving, waiting for the traffic to move, and your car is still on and you are losing some gas. Let's say that you lost gas of 100 Jamaican dollar, just for argument's sake. Of course, you might have lost more, but just measure that how much gas you you lose while waiting in the traffic. So maybe it is 100. Yeah, so it is not, so you can't say that 100 is lost. At that time, all the cars which were waiting, all of them lost uh, some gas in waiting. So that is what the cost is for the government, and that is the cost on taxpayers' money, because gas is bought from taxpayers' money. Yes. So that money could have been used in some other thing which is more beneficial for the society, for us. Yes. But for one reason or another, we spend a lot of time stuck in traffic, and we waste gas. And individually we might think that, oh, I lost this much gas and this is okay. But that is not how you think as a production operation manager. You calculate it for all the people involved in the process, and the process is going from work to home. So all the people who are going from work to home, when the work cut, you calculate that, and you calculate it for the month and for the year, and then you will find how much money worth gas is lost, of taxpayers' money is lost in just in this one process. Yeah. So now how to mitigate this challenge? Let's talk about this, because this is the real example of a process. So I explained you process and I gave you a little bit. What are some of the things which can be done to minimize this waste? Yeah, think about this and reflect on that. So maybe one thing can be that not all people, all jobs should finish at 4:30, because when all jobs finish around that same time, 4:30 or 5, then all the people would want to come out of work, because they were waiting for the work to finish, because they were not really enjoying their job. So from afternoon they were thinking, what time is work cut, so I can just cut and just go away from this place. Yes. So maybe all jobs should not, maybe that is something, and this is possible, this can be done. So same thing, so all work don't start at the same time, so not all people are going towards the work, and not all jobs finish almost in the same time, so that not all the people are rushing to home. And the so that is one way to think about it. Another way can be that some people can and some people do that they don't come out of the work at the peak hour, so they might want to come a little early or a little late, but more people would want to come earlier than later, again for maybe the reason is that they are not enjoying the job. That can be one reason, or something else. But think about it, you or how. So my question is how to improve this process, so we as taxpayers do not lose that much money in gas. Simple thing, and it is a real problem. It is a real problem. Yeah. Any thoughts? Okay. Yes. Uh, Shift system. You can think about that at a wider level. You can think about that. Although in production and operation management, most of the businesses which are in production and operation, they work on shifts, because most of the plants do not close. They are kind of 24/7 plants. I don't know what things are, how they are managing in COVID times, but generally speaking, based on the plants I have seen, all the ones, True Juice, Vicinco, any plant, wherever some type of production is going, they work on shifts. So those workers, many times they are finding the roads empty. I have worked on shifts myself, so thanks Melissa for pointing this shift system. Although I was speaking on this, but I did not think about shift. So thank you very much. This shows you how much dependent I am on your pointers. So don't be shy in giving even small pointers which you think I might have thought, but you have seen multiple times that I have told you that I did not think about that. So shift system, let me tell you that I worked on shift system, and I would go to out of town from Kingston in content, which is like maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hour drive. And in the morning, my shift was like I had to reach at the plant 4:30, something like that. So I would find the road empty, empty, empty. So I enjoyed, although it is a challenge to wake up, but you can. But so I enjoyed driving. So because would not have to wait, and then my work would end at a different time also, depending on if I took the lunch break or no. And I would not take the lunch break. I would work continuously for 7 hours. So after 7 hours, from 4:30 or whatever time, it was early in the morning, I had to reach there at that time. And then when I'm coming also, would not be stuck in the road. So I had saved a lot of money on gas, I can tell you that, and the driving experience, and less time to commute. So I saved all of that time. And then I remember I would be free at 2 p.m. And I would be like, I have so much time on my hand, because even if I sleep at 10, I have like, how many hours I have? I have 8 hours, something like that. So I can recall that my productivity really increased in that time, because see, if I have to do some things on road or other businesses are open till 4:35, something like that. So I have that 3 hours, and then I have all the time. So maybe that is one thing. But I'm asking you guys, what do you think? If this is a problem, how it can be improved? I think someone there wanted to think. Please, if you can give any type of suggestion to make improvement. One more thing can be, as I'm reflecting on this, one more thing can be changing mode of transportation. For example, using motorcycles, motorbikes. Then again, that is not the culture for us in Jamaica. Usually, it is the riders who are working dispatch and that type of thing. They use motorcycles to commute and so on, but generally speaking, either people are using public transportation or their own car vehicle, not two-wheelers, four-wheelers they are using. So if you are using two-wheelers, you would save time, and you would not have to wait a lot in the traffic. And you must have seen it that when you are in a car, public transportation or your own, and you are stuck in the traffic, you must have observed some motorcycles who are just passing you without stopping, and sometimes they don't even stop on the red light. Maybe they think red light is not for them. So but these are some things, like this is how you would want to look into any process and see how it can be changed and so on. Yeah, please reflect on these things. Okay, good contribution. Let me look at some of the slides to see what are the main things there in the chapter. Maybe I might not want to look everything because I want you to read the chapters and so on, but let's see what is there. Yeah, process strategy. Yeah, so they are using the terminology of strategy. Yeah, strategy. So as one friend mentioned in the earlier classes, the importance of strategy in overall production and operation management. So when all these things you might want to consider as you are making your strategy. Yeah. Um, and I gave you some tasks to do in terms of looking at strategic objectives of the businesses of your choice. I don't want to repeat those things which I said. If you missed the session, you can look into last week. I think we were talking about strategy in some minor detail. Yeah. For example, this one, mass customization. So you are customizing, but for the masses. This is one type of process can be there. So you can look into this rapid low cost production of goods and service to satisfy increasingly unique customer desires. Combine the flexibility of the process focus with the efficiency of a product focus. So flexibility, efficiency increasing, trying to identify which areas can be improved. And as Walter mentioned, that everything is on the table. Consider that, think about, reflect on every step of the process. uh, but essentially speaking, as I was asking where you would start, the journey of improving process improvements. You would want to document, observe, do the interviews, go on the plant or the production assembly line, whatever it is. Try to understand how things are being done, document it, compare it with the standard operating procedures manuals, SOP. What are the standards which the workers were asked to obey or comply or follow? What were the SOPs? And compare it with the current practices. If there are some things which are done in on the plant which do not follow the instruction in the SOPs, then remind the workers, because it can be dangerous. Yeah, it can be dangerous if they, let's say they are moving some forklifters or something like that, and they are not following the procedures. For example, maybe they are listening to songs with the headphones, and they are not really caring that what is coming from back and what is happening. Yes, they might have experience, but a chance of collusion is there, something like that. Yeah. So, and you can see many videos on YouTube. Last night I ran some search on this, and they were very funny. Well, funny for us, for me to look at it, but if I were involved in that thing, then I would be very upset about it, because bottles are breaking and loss is happening and so on. So uh, it's not really funny, to be honest, for the business. Yeah. Changing processes can be very difficult and expensive. Now, difficult, you can think about various ways why it can be difficult. I spoke about difficulty in terms of changing the cultural practices, changing the behavior of workers. Worker is thinking that they are doing it right and they have experience and so on. That can just alone, that cultural perception can make the thing difficult. And of course, it is expensive, because if it is assembly line, you would want to make changes. It is expensive, not just in terms of money, also in terms of time spent and then training of the workers and so on. You can think about those things. Process strategy determines transformation strategy for an extended period. Important to get it right. Yeah. For example, in quality, we were talking about cost of quality, and I asked you, what is the cost of quality? The cost of, if you don't get it right first time and you get it right second time, yes, you should be happy because you got it right second time, but your cost has gone up because you had to do it over. Yeah, that type of thing. Transformation strategy, you can look into these things and read it a little in more detail, because we want to talk a little bit about analysis also. So there are the various tools or procedures or methodologies or pictures, diagrams, which you can use as you are looking into process design. And it can be simple tools like we were discussing in quality session, like check sheet and so on. uh, Donna mentioned a simple tool like make the list of procedures, step 1, step 2, step 3. So it can be that. But there are some which your book is going to talk about. For example, flow charts, time function mapping, value stream mapping, process charts, service blueprinting. Yes. So I would encourage you to run some Google searches on these terminologies. Yes. And try to find these type of maps or diagrams or charts in the industry of your choice. You can do it for hospitals if you like it, for hotels, for banks, for any procedure. You just have to run searches and see how they look, and try to make sense of that. So flow diagram, I'm sure you must have seen it. Flow diagram essentially shows that where the flow of activities is going, what is the first activity, what is second activity, which activities needs to be done simultaneously, and which activities need to wait before you complete the step 1 and step 2, those type of things. Let me run a Google search for some of them, like maybe time function mapping. So all I'm doing is going on Google and just run a search, time function mapping. Yeah. It's a process in a flow diagram with time added to the horizontal axis. So it is just similarly like a flow diagram, which is flowing towards start to end, step one, step two, step three. But what happens in time function mapping is that you are adding the time, and it's easy to understand because the name says time function mapping. So the step which you are doing, how much time it maybe takes, or what time you should start one step, and so on. But anyways, let's run the Google search. So in the Google, once you have put in the term, and these similar activities I have been asking you in earlier classes. So pay attention to this, what I'm doing, because you might want to do it for earlier sessions or the sessions which will come in the future. So you run the Google search and then click images, and then this is going to show. Yes. So from that you can click anyone, and then you can see what they are saying. So here you are seeing a time function map on the right hand side. Yeah. So here you are seeing customer, sales, production control, plant, warehouse, transport. So they, over here you are saying 6 days. So overall the function is for 6 days. Yeah, so it takes 6 days to complete the function, which involves these people on the y-axis, customer to transport. So customer is going to order the product on day one, then the sales is going to process the order on the same day. Then in the next 2 days, it goes through the production control and plant. Then in the in the in the next um, in the next days, it is going to go through the plant. Different activities are happening in the plant, as you are seeing here. And then warehouse would take 1 day, and then transport is going to take there for 1 day. Yes, so overall it will take. So but it is a very simple diagram, but this is how it is. Now you can add more and more things on the y on the y-axis. Yes, you would just add on the things on the y-axis based on what function you are doing, and then you will add in the blocks. And this type of diagram is going to be called time function, because it is giving you the function and it is giving you the time. And then there, as you are seeing, there are different types, different various. You can look into, for example, process mapping. It is talking about Six Sigma study guide. You can look into this, or anyone, wherever your heart is, whatever type you want to look at, that is fine. You just want to understand what is time function, and and most important thing is that you would want to practice it somewhere. So why don't you create some type of uh, time function uh, map? Like you create some type of time function map. You can look at any function, like a daily routine for, you can make a routine for your Saturday. What are different functions you do on Saturday? How you allocate different hours to which jobs, what jobs you do, and so on. On the x-axis, you can make it hours. In this picture you are seeing days, but don't worry about it. It's just, they are doing it days. You can do it in hours or years or monthly basis, whatever you want to do. So what happens is that when you make these type of maps or diagrams or charts, it becomes easier to look at the process. Like for example, if this is the process where you are looking, so you would say, okay, customer and sales, where you are ordering the product, and process, sales is doing the process order. It is saying 12 days, so it takes kind of 12 first 12 days to do this job. So you might want to understand why it is taking this much of the time, or whatever it is. Yes. So, and even if it is one, if it is even if it is one day here, like you are moving the product which the customer ordered over here in the on the x-axis, the last column. If you can look at the last column on the if you can look at the column on the far far right side, I should say, you would say one day. Yeah. So on this day, last column on the right side, you are saying that the product is moving from the business to the customer, and customer is receiving the product. Yeah. So it says one day. So you might think that one day is fine and good, but remember that beautiful line that everything is on the table for consideration to make improvement. So why it is taking one day, what is going on this day, how we can reduce the time, and so on. This is what you would want to look into that. uh, Now, as we are talking about this, think about some real businesses like FedEx, or think about Amazon. Yes, Amazon is nice example, because I see that in US they do same day delivery. When you like you are buying some book, and they would say same day delivery if you are in the US, and US is pretty big. So how they will have their shipment go so fast, where they have their warehouses, how do they do their inventory management, what softwares they use, how do they decide that how many copies of a certain book should be bought. All of those things they are thinking, because think about it, Amazon has how many items do you think Amazon has? Different items. It got to be in millions, I am thinking. It got to be, because think about books, how many different book titles they have, just that category. And then you would see that how many different items, and how do they store it, and happens, and all of that thing. And you can listen to their interviews, or read a little bit on them, how do they manage these type of things like time function maps and so on. I think you will learn a lot in the short amount of time. Yes. So yes, you are, so same thing you are going to do for all of these things like value stream mapping, process charts, service blueprint, and so on. Yeah, and the pictures are here also on the slides, but I would say run a Google search, and then in your own interest, uh, uh, in the industry where your interest is, you look at the charts there, or look at the similar type of charts at your work if you are working. Like look at this process chart. See what are the things it would have. It would have the subject charted, what are the thing they are doing. So hamburger assembly process, and the chart made by date, so on. And then look at this, the far left hand column. So on the far left column, yeah, distance in feet. Look at this, very interesting. Far left column in process chart, distance in feet. So they are measuring the distance from one point to another, because this is a fast food hamburger assembly process. So look at this, meat patty in storage, you transfer it to the broiler, then you broil it, then visually inspect, and all of that. They have given you the time in minutes, how much time it would take for each step here. On the far right, process description, you can look into this, and then transfer to rack and so on. Yeah, you can look into this. So what you would want to look maybe more closely at is that far left column, is giving you distance in feet. So what I'm trying to say that they have measured the distance from one point to another because they want to improve the process. So they want to ensure that the things are maybe close by if the process is like step by step, like first step, second step, and so on. So how much time it takes to move in that area, in the kitchen or assembly line, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And then the not just the distance, also the time, like the workers who are working on the line, how much time they are taking, how many steps they are away from where they are sitting. uh, yes, so like you can do it for yourself also, like go in your kitchen if you cook and see how you have placed the things. Where is the stove? Where are the knives, forks? Where are the plates? Where is the cooking oil? Where is the matchstick? Where are the things? Like, is it that you have to make everything is nearby, in the sense that if you require the cooking oil, is it where do you place it? Do you have to walk, like take 5 6 steps to get the cooking oil, or is it just placed above the stove? So in our kitchen, I remember that it is placed just above the stove, cooking oil. Yeah. So maybe now this is not a best practices, because the fire can take place. Maybe if it takes fire or something like that, and so on. You want to just see the area, see the space, what is placed where, in and how much time it takes to move from one place to another. Even though it might be a small kitchen, it might not be very big, but still, uh, when you are when you wash your dishes, where do you put them to dry? What is the mechanism? And then once they are dried, where is the cupboard where you put those dishes, or whatever, these type of things. So you in the real production and operation management on the plants, people measure uh, everything, the steps taken to go from one place to another, the time, the energy, how much energy it takes. Like if something is heavy and you have to lift it and walk 5 6 7 steps, the person who is in charge of process, he's going to look into this, that is it essential to pick it and take it there? Is there any place nearby where I can place it, or something like that? What is the what should be placed where? Yeah. All those things should be thought about. um, and this you should do it like observe wherever you are. We are talking about process redesign of anything. When you are in the car, when you are driving in the car, or you are sitting, just look where are the cup holders, where are the cup holders. So generally speaking, they are the cup holders are in the middle of the two front seats. Generally speaking, they are in the middle, like the driving seat and the person sitting beside, in the middle. uh, they would place the cup holder there. But now think about it, is that the best place to put the cup holders? Can the cup holders be placed somewhere on the right hand side of the steering wheel? Because I'm assuming it is a right hand drive. So is there any place where it can be placed? So it might be your right hand would just pick up the cup from the right hand side of the of the steering wheel. You might want to think about that. um, yeah. Other things you can think about, because in some cars they disable they disable the they disable the um, I think some friend is writing. something in the chat, so let's look at that. No, it's distracting. You are not supposed to be distracted when driving. Yeah, so good point. So maybe that is the reason they are not putting it there. And from distracting, you can think more about this, because when you are driving and there is some TV which is placed, the screen placed on the front of the car. For some cars, once they are driving, the front screen just go off. uh, I've seen it in European cars, and you have to then enable them, but for a moment they are gone there. So you really have to enable them to see, because of the same point which Donna is mentioning, that it would be distracted. Yeah, distracting while you are, based on how she is looking at it. But then different people would look at the same process in a different way. What can be distracting for some person, for other person it might not be that distracting, and they might like it. So this way you might want to look at different processes and try to identify how they can be improved at your home or at your work. But what I'm trying to say is that these type of diagrams are going to help you, and then now you should look more into these type of diagrams and then see how they are labeled for different type of works, different type of jobs. Service blueprint is again one of those diagrams. So again, you will run the search on it, but let me take you through a little bit. So it says focus on the customer and provider interaction. Define 3 levels of interaction. Yes, so it would have different levels because it is linked with service. So the service provider and the customer, the picture or the blueprint is going to be divided into different levels or layer. Each level has different management issues, so you might want to consider that. But let's look at the picture, so maybe things are more clear. So this is the service blueprint where a customer, you are looking at 4 different columns here. So personal greeting, then service diagnose, then perform service, and then friendly close. Yes, so they have divided into 3 levels, as you are seeing: level 1, level 2, level 3. So level 1, personal greeting, customer arrives for the service. Yes, and then you give them warm greeting and obtain service request. What do you want? How I can help you? All of that. And if it is standard request, then you go and perform the required work at level 3. But if it is not a standard request, then you determine the specifics over here, that what exactly they need, and then can service be done, and does customer approve it? If they do, then you perform the job. If they don't, then notify customer and recommend an alternative provider, saying that we cannot do it, or this is not possible in this time, or whatever, but this is the other thing which you can do to complete the perform service. And once everything is done, you prepare the invoice and then notify customer that your car is ready, or your burger is ready, or whatever is the order, it's ready. And then customer pays the bill and customer departs. Yeah, so they have divided into 4 columns and 3 levels. But don't let it confuse you. It can be as many columns as you want. You can look into different type of diagrams. Now same thing, service blueprint, you go in Google and then you run a search, and then you go in images and see how many different styles and shapes are there. And from there you just look at the ones which you like. Look at someone which looks easy, look at someone which looks a little difficult, and that's it. uh, just and then of course, at your work, if you can find some type of blueprint, they might have different names for this, doesn't really matter. So you can look into that. For example, here, look at this on the top. Let me maybe make it bigger so it is more visible to you guys. So look at this top here, restaurant. So if you want to look at restaurant industry, you can click here, and restaurant uh, service blueprint is going to come. If you want to look at hotel, you can click here. Yeah. If you want to look at hospital service blueprint, you can click here. Let's, for example, you click hospital blueprint and you will see this one. Yeah. So this is a hospital. You click here and this one is open. And then you can look into this. Yeah. So these are simple. They're not nothing difficult, but I would say that spend some time looking into these in the industry of your choice and appreciate them and see how they can help in the improvement of different processes. You have one in the slides also. You can look at that in your own time again. And then once you have looked at these different tools, then you can see how different ones, where different ones are used, what are the advantages of one over the another. All of those things, I think you should look into that in your own time. Technology, we have been talking about technology every now and then. So the question can be here that how processes can be used using different technologies. I have posted the pages from the book on your website, PBWorks website. Yeah. So, for example, this one, production technology, yeah, machine technology, automation, identification systems. You can read into these vision systems, and more importantly, just reflect in your surroundings that what type of technologies are being used to make improvements in the system and so on. Uh, for example, let's go on YouTube and uh, for Amazon inventory management robots. Yeah. So here you are. So I just ran a Google search, Amazon inventory management robots, and then you can just play anyone's. The short clips I've turned off the volume because you are going to do these things in your own time. Look at this now. A different process of aligning various products by using robots. There is no role of human beings here. Robots are there, they are numbered, they have sensors, they can read the label. See here, like for example here on the racks, they have the numbers 1B, 2B, 3B, and so on. And all of them, if you look closely, which you should, all of them have these scan codes. Yes. And these robots can lift them up, and the sensors are there on the floor also, and there are specific paths on the floor which these robots are following. All of this you need to reflect in your own time. Yeah, so look at this, what is happening. And then of course there are all things are shown on the system, and there are some person who is looking at it. But think about it, like human beings don't, but how was it before? Like human beings are looking and they might forget what is where and what is not available. Now everything is systemized and you are dependent on the technology and others. Very nice, interesting clips. Here you are seeing some human beings also. This is you are seeing robotic arm. See, it can lift. Now it will not get tired. It needs different type of maintenance. The early investment is high, of course. And look at this. I'm going to pause here. How many human beings you are seeing here? Yes, you are seeing human beings, but at some critical points. There you are seeing some. Here you are seeing this is there. This is there. But overall, look at how big the plant is. And then the pallets, how they are stacked, and then robotic arms, and then the other things which I showed you, how they are sealing, all this infrastructure to manage the process, like how automation has really transformed the business. And this is one of the reasons Amazon is the guy is now the richest person in the world. Yeah, incorporating these type of things. So very interesting thing. Yeah, and look into these type of things, and more very interesting clips are there. You should now do some research and try to do something. But the basic technologies are, there. I don't want to talk about these ones because these are kind of used, but they are kind of old. But you would need to read them for your maybe MCQs or whatever. If you see any, yeah, you want to. But essentially, what you should do is look into what are the technologies being used, different type of production, locally or overseas. Use YouTube. Also, as you are looking at it, look at the challenges faced by these people. What challenges they face. What are the, yes, the efficiency maybe has improved in terms of time and wastage of time and all of that, but must be some challenges. uh, is there anything like too much automation? You might want to think about the role of modern technologies like artificial intelligence and so on. You should read about that also. But you don't have to. You decide what you want to read, and then what is essential is that you appreciate the role of technologies, and then you know a couple of technologies in the business which you are interested in. So that is what you should know, I think. But for exam purposes, you need to go through these things because there are multiple choice and so on. So you need to prepare these for strictly for exam purposes. Like look at these technologies in services, financial service, for example. Like I received this email from Scotia Bank recently that they said that your card, you will get a new card now, and the new card has better technology in it. I did not get the chance to read the email in detail, but I understand that they are trying to minimize the like scams and so on. So they are improving that technology in the cards. It had some type of chip, new chip in it, which was not there before. So they sent the email. So locally, things are happening. Internationally, of course, things are happening. Education, yes, many technologies. We are right now using Blackboard to um, speak or engage or whatever we are trying to do here. Different industries. So these are some examples, but you should have some understanding of all of them. But I think what is important that you really take out some time to understand what is happening in your business processes, in your field. Don't just limit yourself how your business is doing processes. Read about how internationally similar businesses are running those processes. What are the new technologies? Take some interest in it. And if you find something which you think can be applied in your context, in your business where you work in Jamaica, then at least direct your managers or higher ups to those readings, and then uh, try to bring that technology in, maybe, or make them aware that this is happening. You will benefit a lot in terms of career. Uh, Whenever I have done similar type of activities, uh, I got a lot of benefit from these activities in terms of work and the relationship with supervisors and so on. So from experience, I am also saying same. Process redesign. Um, yeah, I think you need to read these things. Ethics, very interesting. They have something on ethics, as you would have realized now that for every topic in production and operations, they are talking about ethics, and they are talking about environment, and they are talking about sustainability and so on. So these topics are very getting more and more important. So in terms of using less energy, using less harmful ingredients, reducing waste, efficient use, encouraging recycling. Yes, this is increasing more and more, in the environment. So this is very interesting, interesting times. Um, but share some examples if you have any in terms of process redesign, process analysis, or something like that based on what we have been talking about. If you have anything to say, it would be nice. Yes, very good. So I have one example for you. I think I spoke about it in another class, but I stopped at Starbucks before our session. I stopped there and buy a few things, and this is the bag. I'm holding their bag right now. So it says a couple of things right here. When you get a chance, you can also, uh, get their bag and read it. Maybe it is not very visible, so I'm going to read it for you guys. So it says reuse it again and again. Reuse it again and again. So this material, whatever it is, it can be recycled, but then maybe we don't recycle properly. Recycling depends on that where I garbage this, in which garbage I put it. So if I in the regular garbage, I don't segregate different types of materials, and then the people who are collecting the garbage, they don't take different types of garbage to different type of locations to recycle. Then you cannot recycle. But Starbucks bag can be recycled. Right? It is we are not recycling it properly. Yeah, but let's read what it says. Anyways, yeah, reuse it again and again, then recycle it again. This bag is made with 100% recycled material with a minimum of 60% post-consumer fiber. So you would want to now Google this post-consumer fiber, what it really means. Use it, reuse it, and then help reduce waste by recycling it. And oh, very interesting. It says the last line here is recycling facilities may not be available in your area. Recycling facilities may not be available in your area. This means that this bag is not made locally. It is coming from some international market, Jamaica and other countries. So Starbucks is offering recycling bag, but not all countries have the capacity or the process to recycle. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, similar type of things you can read on other type of. So get into this habit. I think get into this habit. You will learn a lot because these things are these are part of process. Like when I go and buy Starbucks and bring this bag, I need to know what process this bag needs to go in to take maximum benefit and minimize damage to the environment. I need to know that because this is a process. Let me think about some example which maybe more people can relate to. Yes, so Pizza Hut, yeah, we consume pizzas. So next time when you buy Pizza Hut, get hold of that box. Get hold of that box and read it. And for most of the people, I know that from experience, most of the people have not read what it says. Most of the people have not read, and they are using the box in the wrong way. For example, the box of Pizza Hut says that do not put this box in the microwave oven. So that box in which the pizza is, the box comes with instruction that do not put me in the microwave. But most of the people, when they have to warm the pizza, they do it in the microwave. Yeah. So think about this now, because they did not read it. Yeah. But now, because you are production and operation manager, you are going to look into these things. And if someone is putting the pizza in the in the microwave, uh, tell them nicely that maybe they don't know the process of how to microwave it properly, because then the food is getting damaged. You can read more on this. Yeah. So think about these things. Please read on these things. Anything you want to add before I want to say a couple of more things on a side topic? Any point, anything you want to, any example? Please go ahead. Any example, any thought, anything you want to, it's coming to your mind, or but anyways, please read on these things, as per the discussion, and as per your interest. Keep your interest in mind always, because then it is easier to read, I think. But for examination purposes, you have to prepare multiple choice questions and so on. Yeah. There is a supplemental topic I would want to discuss today very shortly. Again, scheduling. Yeah, schedule, especially for short term. Look into this. Short term scheduling. Short term schedules translate capacity decisions, aggregate planning, and master schedules into job sequence and specific assignments for personal, material, and machinery. Let's speak about this. Let's talk a little bit about short-term schedule. So in different industries, short-term and long-term is different. So you might want to consider that. Capacity decisions. Like when you are looking at the process, you want to think about that. You might find a very good best practice for the process, but you want to think about, does the plant has the capacity, not just the plant, overall, like in terms of human training, human resource, finances, production, operations, in all those things, capacity is there or not. Master schedule for aggregate planning, and aggregate planning would be overall planning. Master schedules would be like, what is the schedule of this course? Let's say that would be the schedule for this course, like every week from this time to this time. But what would be your master schedule for the weekend? That would have the schedule for all the 3 different courses which you are taking from the morning till evening, and it would have other activities which you would do for that day. So that would be master schedule for your Saturdays. Yes. So if someone is inviting you for some function or something, you would want to consider the master schedule, not the schedule for the course, because this course you just have 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours on Saturday, but your Saturday is busy still. So you would want to look at master schedule. Same way, when you are planning, when you are designing processes, you are looking at the process individually, but you are also collectively looking at different processes running in the assembly lines. Yeah, when you are looking into short-term scheduling and job sequence. Yeah, what is job sequence? Step 1, step 2. Is this is it can step 2 take place before after step 3, or we need to complete step 2 before we go to step 3? In other words, these type of activities are called sequenced or non-sequenced. There are some things, sometimes on the assembly line, some steps are sequenced. So you cannot do step 3 before you complete step 2. But then there are non-sequence activities where you can do maybe step 4 before you have done step 2, those type of things. So read on this. You will know those things as you will read about those maps and diagrams which I asked you a while ago to go through. So it's looking at personal, materials, and machinery, and other things also. So this is what I said, that capacity, You guys did not tell me that I have not shared the screen. Now it is shared. Yes, so this is the this is what I was talking about. Yeah. So short term, I explained you capacity design, aggregate planning, master schedule, job sequencing, assignments of personal materials and machinery. Yeah, personal material and machinery, capacity design. Yeah. So these are some things which you are looking into. What is the importance of short-term scheduling? You might want to look into this. Like faster movement of goods through a facility means better use of assets and lower costs. Yeah. And we spoke about this when we were talking about time mapping. Yeah. Why they have those steps, how much steps they take from task one to task two, or what is the distance, or how much time it takes, all of that. Yeah. So you might want to think about that faster movement and so on. Additional capacity resulting from faster throughput. So for example, throughput is some type of terminology in operations management. So you can run a Google search on that and see what is throughput. Yeah, throughput, the amount of material or items passing through a system or process. That is called throughput. But you would want to read a little bit in detail and look at these uh, these type of pictures like bandwidth versus throughput and so on. Yeah. And some basic things which you can reflect on, like why scheduling is important. You can reflect in your own life, like why do you make schedules, why it is important to know how much time it takes to do one job, and how many hours you have free, and how much when is the when one task is one task third and all of uh, just like we I have something in my mind that when I start the session I say, okay, I have 2.5 hours spent on talking from slides, how much time on examples, how much time I should hear from you, how much time I should speak, and so on. I Those things I am thinking uh, when I am planning or making the schedule. I'm sure you do the same type of things. Scheduling deals with the timing of the operation. The task is the allocation and prioritization of demand. Yeah, this is very interesting. Like you need to prioritize. Like there as an operation manager, there would be so many activities going on in the plant. There are too many processes, and you need to improve the processes. And eliminate inefficiencies, bottlenecks, and so on. But which process to do? Which process needs to be improved before some other process? That depends on the prioritization. Where that prioritization comes from? That comes from the consumer demand. Maybe it comes from looking at your inventory, what is there and what is not there. Maybe it comes from forecasting, like what would be the sale pattern or consumer demand in coming months. Or it can be some type of months which require that product, more sales in the coming month of that product. uh, and so on. It can be so many things. It can be where the business is going to focus in the future, and ultimately it is coming from the strategy of the business expansion or product expansion or customer engagement. How those things are prioritized in your strategy of the business. Yes. So from there you are going to make the schedules. Just like you make schedules in your daily life, how do you allocate time? You in your consciously or unconsciously, you have things in your mind which you prioritize. You just do them. Sometimes knowingly, sometimes not knowingly. Uh, there is a saying that if you tell me how do you spend your time, I can tell you what type of person you are. Yeah. So just by asking that, what do you do after work? 5, 5, 4, till the time you sleep. How do you spend your time? Uh, a person who takes out some time to study 2 hours every evening, of course, it is their priority to do well academically or study. A person who is going to watch 3 hours of Netflix every night before they sleep, of course, there is different type of priorities there. So just by knowing how people are scheduling their time, you can know what is going on. Same way on plant, same way in operations management. You can know about what the businesses is focusing on by seeing how they are making their schedules, which things they are giving more importance, and so on. You now scheduling decisions, again you can look into various industries like here hospital, university, factory, cafe, airline. Different examples are here on this slide. I would say it doesn't matter which one you look, you just find which one you are interested in, and then for example interested in university, let me look at this one. Room, audio visual equipment, yeah, student and instructor, location, space, all of those things you would want to consider when you are making schedule uh, of the semester or so on. Well, our weekend school is small, so it is relatively easy to make the schedule. But think about the regular full-time school, Mona School of Business, and then how many courses they have, and then how before COVID, like the regular times, how many classes they have, and which classes have what capacity of sitting space, and all of those things, and then making the timetable like uh, to accommodate the students. So they would need to know how many students register for a specific course, and they need to know what courses are offered in first year, second year, third year, which semester, so that to minimize the clash or make a schedule which has no clash. It takes a lot of effort, and nowadays there are softwares which do these type of things. So but sometimes you have to do it manually also. Yeah, so these type of things you might want to in your interest area, you should do some research or meet the person who makes schedules in your business. What are the things they take care of? Having a 5-10 minute conversation with them, I think should be nice. Okay, you can look into this. uh, yeah, this one for example, Gantt load chart. Yeah, so this is a chart where you can see on the top Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then on the y-axis you are seeing metalworks, mechanical, electronics, painting, and then they have these things like processing. This is unscheduled, this is center not available, and then they have divided on Monday job 349 for metalworks, uh, and so on. But let me run a Google search on this, because this is very interesting diagram. It is called Gantt charts. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with this or not, but if you are not, you should look into this. It is linked with project management course also. Like look at this one, project schedule. Yeah, so on y-axis you are seeing preparation, specification, architect, planning, detailed design, development, test plan, and so on. Yeah, and then on x-axis you are seeing the dates: March 14, March 28, April 11, and so on the weeks, 2 weeks. It's a 2 weeks bracket. Every column is 2 weeks, and so on. Yeah, so you are seeing like 2 weeks would take for preparation, 2 weeks for specification, and so on. Yeah, they have not labeled it like in a way like which business it is, but you can run some search on that. Like for example, look at this one. It is on quarters: quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, so forth. so forth: planning, research, design, implementation, and follow-up. Simple Gantt chart. Yeah, 5-step: planning, research, design, implement, and then follow up. Simple. Yeah, but look at this. This is starting somewhere here, and the planning is continuing in February, but see, the research has simultaneously started in February, and planning is still going on, and research is simultaneously going on. And as planning and research is taking place in March, they also start the design phase, and in that phase research is still going on and planning is still happening. And then in April, uh, once they are closer to finalization of the design phase, they go into implementation, and then they are going into that. And then in the later part of June, they follow up. Although it is already implemented, it is implemented, meaning that whatever is the process, it is taking place, but as it has not, it does not has to end before you follow up. So the implementation is going on, but you are following up, and in that, if there is some change needs to be required, you can maybe you can extend this line, design, and then you can redesign and then implement, and so on. Yeah, that type of thing. Just like you guys gave the course course performance, course appraisal, feedback, evaluation, course evaluation, which you do at the end of semester. So you don't do it when the course is 100% complete. The course is still going on, but you would do the evaluation and so on. Yeah, that type of thing. So look into Gantt charts are very interesting. So start by looking at something simple, and then maybe look at a little bit more complex and try to understand how they make it, and maybe start making these type of things in your work or something like that. These type of charts you have when you have this visual thing, all of this process and process scheduling and process, these things become easier. So they have given some example here and in the book also, but I would say do Google search and try to find some good website with some interesting charts in the field of your interest, and then I think then use them in your practice them. Or maybe at your work, these things are, I'm sure these type of charts are used. There are so many different types of chart. You should don't just limit yourself with the charts which are mentioned in the slides. Look into your processes there at work and see how different charts are used. There is another course which is productivity and quality management. In that one also they use different type of statistical control charts, SPC they call them. Very interesting. So you can run search on that, but don't in any way, nothing to be feeling overwhelmed on these topics. More things are just for exposure. Um, do the things which you like to do and read more about them. At least pick couple of topics which are covered in production and operation management, and go in detail, so you have some competency in one or two topics. It can be process, it can be quality, it can be anyone which you like. But for exam purposes, you know that you have to do some dirty work which you might not enjoy, but that is what it is. And this one essentially is saying that what I wanted to say or talk about for this slide is there are now softwares where you are giving in the input, the data, and so on, and they generate these type of different type of reports. Like for example, capacity scheduling, you are giving them the master schedule, you are giving them the priority rules, and then it is and then you are giving them the setups and runtime. You are giving them the routing files, work center information, uh, and then they are using those things to make you charts on like what should be done on day 1, day 2, day 3, and which jobs should be sequenced and which jobs should be non-sequenced. So once you give them the data, there are softwares which make these type of tools, these type of charts. But good to know at least how they look in different industries. So uh, please do these type of activities. Let me go to the. I'm on your website. I'm going to play this clip. Please watch it carefully, and we might
Gold
talk about
Rush,
it.
when a certain Mr. Levi Strauss began making miners denim work pants with copper rivets. To say he came up with a winner is something of an understatement. 450 million pairs are sold every year in the US alone, and worldwide the denim market is worth around $40 billion. But every pair of jeans has made an amazing journey from the cotton field to the high street store. Those jeans are made here in Tehuacan. This is Mexico's largest jeans factory and produces designs for most of the famous American brands, churning out 400,000 pairs every month. A typical pair of 5-pocket jeans uses 15 pieces of cloth. So they first stack the denim into piles of 100 sheets, ready for each piece of the design to be cut. It's up to pattern layer Antonio Martinez to make sure that as little material as possible is wasted. Using a computer, he can limit the offcuts to just 7%. Once he's happy, the pattern is printed onto paper. Next, the design is rolled out over the denim. This stage is more like carpentry than tailoring, and with the denim 100 sheets deep, any mistake will be costly. Once cut, it's like a military operation, with an army of jean genies assigned to one specific task. Each pair of jeans takes 15 minutes to make and requires 1.6 meters of denim, several hundred meters of thread, 6 rivets, and 1 zipper, or 5 buttons. On seam ironing duty is Marie Cruz.
I like my job a lot because there's no pressure here, unlike other areas of the factory. I iron 300 pairs a day. I like ironing, but later my back will hurt.
Marie adds the finishing touches to these spanking new jeans, but they're still not ready to grace a cowboy's behind. These days, everyone's too cool to wear jeans that look brand new. So they're about to become distressed by being slipped onto some rubber legs, blown up, and given a little rough handling. In just 60 minutes, this team are going to make the jeans look like they've spent the last 5 years being dragged around a mine. So they set to work sanding in worn patches, grinding in frayed edges, and spraying on stains. Then, to add a few worn-in designer creases, it's out with a high-tech laser gun. These jeans get an even rougher ride than the Buckaroos. To give them a final hammering, they're tossed into gigantic washing machines, along with a few buckets of volcanic rock. Once dried, the jeans are now shrunken and nicely worn in. Or totally trashed, according to your point of view. After a quick press and the obligatory label, so you know whether they're designer expensive or just cheap and cheerful, they're boxed and ready to be shipped to budding Bronco busters everywhere.
Yeah, very interesting clip on the process of making the jean, how they are making it. Interesting things you might have learned in this. 15 pieces of cloth they are making to make the jean. They are ensuring that little material is wasted because mistakes are costly. Specific tasks people were doing on the assembly lines. People were not doing all the jobs. People were assigned to one specific task and they were doing it. It was taking 15 minutes to make, and they knew exactly how much of a material of different types is going to be used uh, on the jeans. The lady who was ironing the jeans, she said that 300 pairs a day she can iron, and she also, I think, mentioned that sometimes her back would hurt. So imagine that nowadays when the robots are going to iron uh, those jeans, their backs at least is not going to hurt in the same way in which human back can hurt. You saw the laser guns, and one thing I specifically find very interesting is that those genes are tossed in with volcanic stones, to give it the type of look which we would see on these type of genes, and so on. So if you have not done any type of research, or you have not seen this type of information specifically because you never researched, then I'm sure that you are quite fascinated that what are different pieces in the process which goes through to make this type of gene. So same way I found this interesting because I like genes and so on, and I wanted to do some research. How do they make it? So see, in a short clip, you learn the basics, what is happening. And of course, nowadays, this is an older clip. If I do on the some research on the current technologies which are being used in manufacturing these type of genes, I'm sure I'm going to learn more things. So that is what I'm trying to convey, is that find something which you are interested in and then do some research on that to understand the processes and so on. Scheduling also, you can think about it, because all these jobs were scheduled on timely fashions, like how much time it takes and so on. So you can look into that. So this was it, the one on the left, and then on the right is one on a hospital. I have posted it. You can watch it if you want. I asked you to look at different diagrams, charts, maps. For one of them, which is value stream mapping, I found this clip which explains it very nicely. So you can watch this, but I did not want to do it for everything because I want you to do some research. So please spend some time on this, and if there is any difficulty, nothing to really worry about. You can always ask me and we can talk more about that. Business process redesign, yeah, redesigning. So because I am interested in universities, so I found this link. You can go through it in your own time in more detail. So for example, it looks like this: University of California, the new business architect for process and policies, and they explain what are some things which they would want to do. Like for example, look at this. You see business process. On the left hand side, you are looking at the past. What is in the past? Yeah, past core business processes. And what is the future direction? You are looking at future direction. Yeah. So this way they have explained it. Different processes, different things in a university environment. Yeah. You can go through that very quickly. As you are in university also, you will understand what they are trying to do. Simple words are being used. Yeah. um, Policies and policy development. Yeah, please, you can look into this, but you don't have to. uh, you can do something which you can look into some business which you like. I like universities. I posted this for you. It's a small read. You can quickly scan through if you want to get some understanding. And then scheduling also, I posted this clip, but you need to watch it in your own time. Thanks much for this. Please look into these topics: process 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 design analysis, different type of charts, tools, try to find live examples from your work or from internet. Run some Google searches, look into images, go on YouTube, listen to some recordings of from other universities, how they explain process design and analysis. Definitely the topic is quite broad, so you are going to learn a thing or two, and do some research and reflect on these things. Thanks very much.